Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Friday Live. It is Friday, May the 3rd, 2024, and approximately 12:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So Fiona Lukeis here, coming to you live like I do every Friday and around this time to answer any questions that you may have or to expand on anything that you want to know more of, subject-wise, relationships, life, whatever's going on for you. This is where I come live every week just to see how I can be of service and perhaps help you with an area of your life that you may be struggling with. So, as always, I'm going to give the feed a few minutes to filter through. I am going to start making this earlier because I know with the recent daylight savings change, we've come out of daylight savings. The US and Canada has gone into daylight savings, and so that's impacted the lateness of this for you guys. I know Eastern time it's nearly 10 p.m. So I want to start. I'm going to move this back to move this forward an hour and a half, moving forward. So, but I'll give you plenty of notice of that so that the live will start a little bit earlier, my time, which will be earlier for you guys in the US and Canada. As always, I'm sorry we missed the UK because timing just doesn't quite work, unfortunately, for Australia and UK at the moment. But hopefully you'll watch the recording. And if you are catching the recording, as always, please say hi. Let me know where you're listening from. And, please give me any feedback as to whether this has been helpful or you've got any other questions. It really helps me know whether what I'm sharing is useful to you, because I want to make sure this is a good use of your time and a good use of my time, right? So any feedback you have for me, any questions, I really, really would appreciate hearing them. And of course, if you want to share this with someone, if there's someone you know who would benefit from hearing this, please do so. Please share away. I'm currently live on YouTube and Facebook. So this is where I go live every Friday. Okay, so as always, there are questions for me to answer. But if you are live and you want to, you have a question that you'd like me to answer, pop it in the comments below, and I will do my absolute best to answer it for you. It is a gorgeous day here in Melbourne, like beautiful, warm, sunny, blue skies. We are well and truly into autumn. So at the end of this month, it will be winter, but we are having it's a stunningly beautiful day here. So I'm you can probably tell by the sunlight streaming in here. So I'm very excited. The other thing that I'm very excited about is after many, many years of working from a home office and seeing clients from a home office and obviously through Zoom all over the clients, I've got clients in many countries around the world, and Zoom has been fantastic for that. I have actually almost finished building myself a home office in my back garden. So hopefully this time next week, I'll be coming to you live from there. I'll be doing my first live there. I'm so excited. That has been about, 14, 15 years in the making to get to that point. So I'm really, really excited to have my own dedicated space. I mean, I do have a dedicated space here, but something that's energetically, and I'm going to be very protective of the energy of it and everything. I've gone to incredible lengths to build this and create this the way that I want it, so that if a client wants to see me in person, they can do that, or if I want to create something and put a program together, or it's just this beautiful space that I've been creating. So I'm very, very excited about that. So I may be live next week, coming to you from there. So it's so if you notice the backgrounds change, it's because that's where I am. It's I'll take you on a little. I mean, it's just a little room. It's not this huge thing, but it's my space, and I've been working with this wonderful local carpenter. We've been building it together. We didn't have plans or anything. We were just like, oh, I like that there. What do you think about this here? And so we've just created it together, and it's gorgeous. I'm so excited. So I'll share that with you guys next week. Now, as always, if you are listening, please say hi. Let me know where you're listening from, and that I will look at the questions that I have for today. Now, let me just check on those. All right. Okay. So, I love the fact that people send questions into me and give me an opportunity to I guess, have a look at your life or get a glimpse of your life and get a sense of what really matters to you and what's important to you. And it's one of the things I love about the Q&As, and when people send them through to me, I find it really, I'm grateful when people send things through, and I do my absolute best to answer them as, to the best of my ability. I don't always have full knowledge of everything. So I do my best to answer it for you. But if there is a question that you want me to answer, if there is something that you would like to know more about, please let me know, and I will do my absolute best to answer it for you. So today, today's question, and there's a couple of them. Today's question comes from a lady who says, "Hi Fiona, I've just recently read your ebook and am really surprised at how quickly my mind has quietened. I didn't even realize how busy-minded I was, and I didn't realize the impact that it was having on everything and everyone around me." You're absolutely right when you say that when our mind slows down, we feel better. I feel completely different, and I can't even explain how and why. I just don't seem to be thinking about the same things, and my reactions are different. In saying that, I would really like to take this even further. As someone who has always struggled with worrying about what other people think of me, I can see now that I have not lived my best life because I've always changed myself to make other people feel okay. If I keep looking in this direction, will this help me with that? Great question. Great question. If I keep looking in this direction, will this help me with that? Great question. I just want to say, if you're someone who feels like you are constantly changing yourself to fit someone else's ideal, or you feel like you have to dumb yourself down, so to speak, or you feel like you can't have a voice, or you want to make sure everyone else around you is okay so that you can be okay before you can let go, you will find that there comes a point where life becomes about everyone else first and you second. And the interesting thing about human beings is that when we live our life like that, we can do that for so long before it starts to become almost, what's the word? It feels like it just gets harder and harder and harder. It's almost impossible. And if you've ever had something like that go on in your life where you've been doing something a certain way, so maybe putting everyone else before you, and you get to a point that for some reason what you've been doing is no longer working for you anymore, I really want you to know something. This is very important. We are here to evolve, and we are given continual opportunities to evolve and grow. You are either repeating or evolving as human beings. You're either repeating or evolving. Now, you may notice that in order to evolve, we need to be uncomfortable. We don't tend to look for an answer or create change until things become uncomfortable enough, because our human loves to be comfortable, loves things to kind of stay the same to a point, doesn't like big change. And so as long as it's comfortable, it's not that interested in evolving, right? Because evolving often means change. It means letting go of something. It may mean walking away from something. It may mean starting something completely new. It involves change and uncertainty. And human beings, as a general rule of thumb, now there's always exceptions to this, don't really love lots of change and uncertainty, right? We will take comfort over change generally. Now, I know there's exceptions to this, right? Some of you love to create upheaval in your life and turn things upside down a lot. But I will say you are in the minority if you are someone like that. So we're constantly being given an opportunity to evolve or repeat. Now, the thing that I find really interesting is that people will come to me, and if they're not in enough pain, they will repeat. We only really evolve when we're in enough pain, enough discomfort, when we are uncomfortable enough. Now, there's nothing wrong with repeating. I'm not meaning that to be derogatory or negative or to put anybody down. I've repeated many times in my life, and I'm sure I will again. It's just that because we are here to evolve, we are here to evolve spiritually, we're here to expand. Because we are here to evolve, you will find that you will repeat something, and there will come a point where it is too painful for you to repeat it anymore. It's too uncomfortable for you to repeat it anymore. And that the only choice you have is to evolve. Now, some of us, evolve kicking and screaming through the door, the evolve door, right? We kick and scream through that door. I don't want to do this. I don't want this to change. I don't want anything to be different. That's, and as I say, that's our human, right? Our human goes, no, I know I'm uncomfortable. I know I'm unhappy, but I don't really want to deal with that. But there always comes a time where evolving is the only option left. And so what I would say to you, to the lady who sent this question in, great question, is obviously the fact that you've read my ebook, it's resonated. You're at a point where you're uncomfortable enough that you're looking for answers, you're looking for change. Now, the mistake that we can make at this point is we can make a little bit of change, which just takes the edge off, and then we can say that's enough. That's okay. Right? Because as I said, human beings don't really enjoy evolving because of the uncertainty and the uncomfortability that comes with it. And so some of us can make the mistake of thinking, oh, okay, I've read that book, I feel a bit better now. Or, I've done a gym class, that's taken the edge off. Or, I gave up drinking for 3 days, I feel better now. Or whatever it is, right? We'll go to a certain point and then we'll go back to repeating again. Just please understand, because your purpose is to evolve, that will come up for you again and again and again and again and again until you do evolve. Now, some people don't evolve. They it's too much to whatever. And so they'll distract themselves, and we're very good at distracting ourselves. But for this lady here who's saying, you know what, Fiona, my whole life has been about everybody else, making sure everyone else is okay and putting everyone else first and me last. It sounds like you're at that point where you're so uncomfortable with doing that. You're at that point where it's time to evolve. It's time to put you first. It's time to be okay with other people not being okay. Let me say that again. It's time for you to be okay with other people not being okay. This is very important, because in order to put yourself first, that will mean inevitably at some point that you will make a choice that is not okay with somebody else. It's inevitable, right? When you put yourself first, that's what happens. That there will come a point where you choose something that's not okay for somebody else. And that's when the evolvement really begins, because how you move through that, how you handle that, what you make that mean, where you go from there is the everything, right? Now, when we're really comfortable in our own skin, and this is why I talk about how important it is to get to know yourself outside of the limitations of your own thinking, because we have constant limitations of thought that we put on ourselves that we can't see, that just look like the way life is or the way we are. I started with a new client today, and he was saying to me, this whole thought thing, Fiona, because I was teaching him something. And he said, so are you saying that, what about personality types? And I said, what about them? And he said, so are you saying that I am not my personality? And I said, potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. It's so interesting when you look in this direction, you discover things about yourself that you didn't know were not true. There are things that we believe about ourselves our entire life that we then live out of, that we create out of, that we do life out of, that we relate out of, we do relationships from, everything that we just think is, oh, I can't help it because that's just the way I am. And I really want you to know, one of the amazing things about looking in this direction is you start to really see through the truth of that. I used to see myself as a stress head. I couldn't deal with stress. I couldn't deal with things not going, when life hit or unexpected things would happen, I would get really, really overwhelmed very quickly. And I just thought I was just one of those personality types that just couldn't deal with that. I believed that for decades. Now I fundamentally know that is not true and never was true. I've gotten to know a whole new version of myself that I did not know existed. And I love that person. Or it's been one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. And so getting to know yourself outside the limitations of your own thinking, I think, is one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself, because we don't know the limitations we place on ourselves. And we don't know what opportunities that blocks us from having, the depth of connection that it blocks us from having. Because I can tell you right now, I did not have the level of connection in my life that I now get to have. I did not have the level of presence in my life that I now get to have. I did not have the level of gratitude that I now get to have. I have these moments and they come out of nowhere. It's like this wave of this amazing feeling that comes over me. And I feel grateful because I feel grateful. So I'm not just feeling grateful, I'm grateful for the grateful, because the feeling of it is so amazing. And then how that ripples out to the people in my life, to whether it be, even last night I had to go to the supermarket late and do a grocery shop. And I don't know what was going on with me last night. I was just in this incredible feeling, in a loving feeling. And everyone I spoke to, it's like, hey, how are you? And I could see, because of the way I was showing up, it was being reflected back at me from everybody. It was incredible. And because of it, there was one point I was at the supermarket and we have these self-checkout things. I had a trolley full of stuff and I was thinking, oh, I've got to do self-checkout. I'm going to be here for ages. And this young man came out of nowhere and he goes, oh, I'll open up my register for you. Come with me. And I went, thank you. And he goes, you're welcome. I saw you standing there and I thought, how can I help you? And I was like, that is so lovely. I so appreciate you. Thank you. I can't explain it to you, but I felt this wave of gratitude. And then I felt another wave of gratitude because I was feeling grateful. Right. And then that just went on to the next person I dealt with at another store and rippled on from there. And people are going, hey, you have a great night. I'm like, you too. And it was just this easy, and I could feel it. I am so plugged in and connected right now. And that's because I don't have any limitation. I don't have any limited thinking going on for me in this moment. And I just love being the fullest expression of that and having an opportunity to have that. I just love it. It's a feeling that stays with me for hours. So I guess when I come back to the question that this lady has sent through to me, I guess what I want to say to you is, yes, you keep looking in this direction, and 100% that will help you expand through that limitation you've been living out of, where everybody comes first and you're last, where you've got to make sure everyone else is okay before you can be okay. And so, and part of that, if you are someone who does that, please understand that is your way of trying to control your environment. Like, if I can control everyone else and everyone else can be okay, then I can feel safe. And so that is such a hard, exhausting place to live your life from, because you're constantly on edge, worrying about what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is saying, how everyone else is feeling. And then not only are you worrying about all of those things, you're then thinking about, well, if I do this, how will they handle that? And if they say that, what would I say to that? So maybe I won't do this, but if I don't do this, then, and you're ruminating and you're thinking and you're overthinking, it's exhausting. Okay. Imagine a life where you don't have that mental load, where you just get to show up to life. You just get to show up. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to preempt it. You don't have to worry about all the potentials of anything. You just get to show up and you get to connect through clarity of mind, through openness, because you're comfortable in your own skin. Now, the amazing thing is, when you show up that way, you give everyone else permission to show up that way too. Because the funny thing is, when we're on guard, everyone else is on guard. Everyone else is on guard because they can feel it. You're on guard, so they're on guard. This is how plugged in we are energetically. This is how much the world can be a mirror of where you are. So, yes, and I love the fact that you're thinking about that. I love the fact that for you, recognizing that it's time for you to honor you, for you to put yourself first, for you to put down what other people are thinking and feeling is going to be life-changing for your relationships, life-changing for you. And you're going to get to know yourself through a whole new lens. And I just think that's, like I said before, the greatest gift you can give yourself. Hey, Jody. Hi. Hello again from Washington State. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad that you find them helpful. Whereabouts are you in Washington State? I just think that's just a beautiful part of the world. I've been there a few times. I really do, and I miss it. I haven't been there for a while. I haven't been there since before COVID. It's definitely time for another visit. Hi, Diane. Thank you for saying hi, honey. I really appreciate it. I hope you're really well. It's always nice to see you here. And anyone else who's listening, if you want to say hi, let me know where you're listening from. Let me know if there's a question that you have or something that you would like me to answer for you. I'm more than happy to do that. That's the whole point of me going live. The whole point of me doing this is that perhaps I can show you a fresh approach to relationships, a whole new way of being in the world. Hey, Lisa. Yes. Oh, so are you in Washington State as well? Okay, cool. Well, I do. I seriously think it's one of the most, and it's just it is stunningly beautiful. I've done hikes through, I guess the hills outside of Lacona in Seattle, and I could cry with how beautiful it is. I've seen otters and eagles, and it's San Juan Island next to Lacona. Oh wow. Oh my goodness, I would so love to see that. Wow, it's such a gorgeous part of the world. I hope you're enjoying your trip away, Lisa. I hope you've had a lovely time nourishing you. So I guess one of the things that I really wanted to talk about today, and hence why the question that was just asked earlier, and if you've just logged on and you haven't heard the question, you just listen to the replay and you'll hear it there. But I think there's something, and I didn't even know this was a thing until I came across the understanding that I teach and work from, that there was an opportunity for me to get to know myself outside the limitations of my own thinking. And it is a gift that I am so grateful I have been given. And it's a gift I want everybody to have access to. I really do, because I've discovered things about myself. I've discovered a way of being in the world, a way of relating to people, to myself, to life, that I did not know was possible, that I thought I would never have access to because of my personality type, the things that I thought were wrong with me, the things that I felt that I hadn't been shown in my childhood, or whatever, that I thought were blocking me from that, which I now know is not true. And I have a whole different way of relating. There's something so freeing about that. I can't explain it to you. It's one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. So if you are someone, as I was saying before, we're either expanding or repeating. We're expanding or repeating. And that's because our human being loves to be comfortable. Our human being doesn't like change. And so it will repeat and repeat and repeat until it's in enough pain where it's forced to do something else. Okay. And we've all been in that place where we've done something and 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 done something until it becomes unbearable, so painful, so uncomfortable, so confronting that it's almost like, and this is where I say to people, you have to see if you are in that state and are in a place like that. And I know many people are, okay? Many people are. And this might sound a bit strange, but if you are someone in that state, please know, and I have been in that state, please know that you are being given the most incredible gift. This is the universe loving the heck out of you, right? Now, it's hard for you to see because it looks like the universe is not loving you because it's put you in this horrible situation that's painful and uncomfortable and scary and overwhelming and not what you want. But I really, really want you to know these situations can be the most incredible gift because they push you out of that comfort zone. They force you to dig deep, discover something inside yourself that you didn't know was there, to expand and grow. And as you expand and grow, you look back and you think, wow, I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I got through that. I can't believe I've achieved that. Like, wow, right? And that builds this incredible sense of confidence, comfortability, belief, sense of self-worth. I could go on and on with the things that it actually creates and generates and believe that are there, that are now permanently there that you see. It's not that they weren't there before, but you couldn't see them. Okay, it's like it uncovers what was already there and uncovers it in such a way that you never forget it, you never lose sight of it, and you draw on it again when the next opportunity comes for you to evolve out of a situation you've been repeating in. Right, when the next opportunity, the next gift of the universe coming along and saying, okay, human, it's time to evolve, it's time to grow, let's go. And you're like, no, I don't want to. It's terrifying, it's scary, right? But I just want you to know these are incredible divine gifts, and they are evidence of how deeply loved you are, because the universe never gives up on you, even though sometimes we give up on ourselves. I get that, but the universe never does. And when you are reminded of how deeply loved you are, when you are reminded of the truth of who you are, and when you deeply see that for yourself, it is indescribable, the feeling of it. And why I keep saying the greatest thing that ever happened to me, because I had so many limitations on myself, which I then put on the people around me. So many limitations in the way that I saw life. I did not believe the universe had my back. I did not believe that life could be easy and fun. To me, life was hard. To me, life never went my way. To me, I was unlucky. To me, it didn't matter what I did. It was pointless. That was how I saw life a lot. And so because of that, I was angry, frustrated, spiteful, not as generous as I could be, very impatient, and limited by that a lot. And so my experience of life was a reflection of that quite often. I'm beyond grateful to see the truth of who I am, which I'm still discovering and getting to know, and to know that the way I saw life was not reality, that there was something else on offer. There is always something else on offer. We just can't always see it. But I want you to know there is always something else on offer. Always, without fail. Just sometimes, yeah, it's really, really hard to see. And so life can seem really scary, and though it's against you. And we've all had those moments. So if you are going through something like that, I want you to know you're not alone. And there is definitely something else on offer. And even though you may not see it right now, there is a gift in what you are experiencing, because you will discover something about yourself that you never knew was there, or you had doubts around, or you didn't quite believe in before, that you then draw on for the rest of your life. Now, that sense of knowing that you draw on, and this is something we build on in our lives, right? Where you move through an experience, you get through the other side of it, you learn something about yourself. No one can ever take that away from you from that moment forward. No one. So the things that I've discovered about myself that I did not know were there, I've discovered through extreme hardship. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to have extreme hardship, but it seems to me, because we like to be comfortable, that it's only through extreme hardship sometimes that we take the leap of faith that we need to take. It's like leaping from a burning building, right? And not sure what's on the other side of it. But I really want you to know you are deeply loved. You haven't done anything wrong. The universe has your back, and there is always something else on offer. Now, these are some of the conversations we have inside my Relatable program, amongst many other things. Someone said to me the other day, one of my students, Fiona, I joined Relatable to fix my relationship, and whilst that has changed considerably and is so much better, I've learned things about myself that I never knew were there. I have all these insights about life and things that I never knew were there. And I'm so grateful, because I just see life completely differently. Hey, Carol. I was going to read what you said here. Hi, thanks for saying hi, Carol. My husband blames me for all our relationship problems. He always avoids deep conversations. He doesn't stand emotions. He said they lead to problems. I'm so done and exhausted trying to explain to him basic human needs. He knows I'm hurting and there's nothing coming from him. I'm taking care of me, connecting with me, and trying to let go of him. Okay. Good for you, Carol. Good for you. I just want to say something about that. And thank you so much for sharing that, honey. I really appreciate it. Okay. Thanks for your comment. Thanks for jumping on here and sharing that. First of all, I'm really sorry that you're going through that. I do know how exhausting that is. One of the things that's really important, okay, and we struggle with this, is staying in your own lane, staying in your own emotional lane. Okay, so when someone, like this example here, and this great example, Carol, so if you don't mind, I'm just going to speak about it for a second. When we're in a relationship with someone who's projecting a lot, okay, so they're not great at looking this way. It's almost like an emotion comes through like a hot potato, and they go, hot potato, here, you have it, okay, because they're so uncomfortable, they're so stuck, they're so frightened of their emotions that they go, here, you take it, you take it, you take it. Now, if you're in a relationship with someone like that, the worst thing you can do is then take that on board and then try and explain or teach something that they're not really ready to hear. Okay? Because what happens is you take their emotion for them, which seems like a good idea at the time. I'm going to help them with this, right? But we absorb that emotion, which in of itself is exhausting. We're then trying to solve that for them, which is in of itself exhausting. And then we go into explanation mode. Now, I'm sure there are people who can explain this better than me out there. But when you take on board someone else's emotions and you are in their lane, so you're driving along in your emotional lane, and we change lanes, and now we've kind of got a wheel in each lane. So we're taking up 2 lanes, right? And as you know, if you're driving a car in the middle of the road, taking up 2 lanes, that's hard, isn't it? It's scary. People beep at you. You're all over the place, right? It's really tricky. But we're taking up 2 lanes. We're now carrying our emotions and someone else's, and now we're trying to teach them. We're trying to explain to them. So almost take on the role of therapist, right? And it's almost like the more you push and try and explain, the more entitled they feel to throw it back at you. It creates this sense of entitlement. I can't explain to you why that is. To me, it's an energetic exchange. And so they feel even more entitled to throw it back. It's really fascinating what happens when you stop doing that, when you stay in your emotional lane. You stop trying to explain, you stop moving into their lane and trying to, you just stop. You stop carrying their stuff, you stop trying to explain, you just let it go. Completely let it go. And I mean completely, like it's not even on your mind. See, if it's not on your mind, it's not in your energetic frequency. Okay? And if it's not in your energetic frequency, there's a different energetic exchange going on with the other person. It's like it opens this space. It creates space. Now, human beings are scared of space. They see this as a void. They see this as this means something. It means that I don't care, or I'm seen as selfish or uncaring, or right. We got all of this thinking about space, and so we are very uncomfortable with space. We're not good at holding space. We don't trust in it. This is why I say to you, and many of you have heard me say this many times, there are 3 areas that we are constantly in relationship with. This is why I'm so passionate about relationships and people being good at them. You are always in a relationship with something every second of every day, because there's 3 elements to relationships. There's your relationship with you, your relationship with life, and your relationship with others. So even if you're not dealing with someone else, a relationship with someone else, you're dealing with your relationship with life, and you're dealing with your relationship with you. And so this situation where you're not allowing space, where you don't understand how powerful it is and how it works, again, something we talk about in Relatable, is part of your relationship with life. So if you don't trust in life, you're not going to be very good at doing that. I never was. Very good at doing it now, and it's a beautiful feeling. So when we are very good at creating space, holding space, and leaving space, it opens up possibility for something else that doesn't happen when we take someone else's emotional load, when we're trying to explain. It's like we're filling the space all of the time. And so there's no room for that person to step into something else. Okay, so I love the fact, Carol, that you've obviously had some realizations about this, that it's time to focus on you, connect with yourself, and let him work things out for him. Very, very important. Now, there's a whole lot more to be said about that, but I just really want to acknowledge it's fantastic that you've seen that, and the power of holding space, because space is generative and rich. It really, really is. And if people understood that more, they would be so much better at staying in their own emotional lane. So much better. There'd be far less rescuing going on, people rescuing people. And that's also the other problem, right? When we rescue someone from themselves, they stay in victim mode. And obviously the rescuer is looking for love. I get that, right? I understand that. But there's another way to generate love where you're not sacrificing yourself for someone else. There's a whole other way to be in relationship and generate love that's not based on that dynamic, because nobody wins in that dynamic. The victim stays the victim and they don't get to see their own power. And, the victim then gets frustrated by feeling like they're the victim. So they move to aggressor and they become aggressive, whether that's yelling, screaming, passive aggressive, verbally aggressive, physically aggressive, or whether they withdraw love, which is also a form of aggression. They become aggressive and they take it out on the rescuer. And then the rescuer becomes the victim. And there we have the drama cycle, right? So you cannot create the relationship you're looking for from the drama cycle. And if you are a rescuer, you've got to get out of other people's emotional lanes. People don't need rescuing. People don't need fixing. People don't need saving. They don't. They really, really don't. And it's far more empowering for you to create connection that's not created via rescuing. It's created through partnership, through equal partnership, where you are generating goodwill and a deep, deep, deep sense of understanding, playfulness. I mean, I could go on and on and on, right? That's healthy for you and for the other person. This is very, very, very important. So if you're in a position where you're playing the rescuer, please stop. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve the other person. It's exhausting. And what happens is you get to the point where you end up in a place of resentment and martyrdom. Okay? And you feel really unappreciated. And so that creates its own toxic cycle. So good for you, Carol. It's awesome. Hey, Jackie. Relatable is an amazing program. I'm currently doing it and can't recommend it highly enough. Oh, thank you, Jackie. That's so kind. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Hey, Cecily. Hi, Fiona. I really recommend Fiona's Relatable program. This understanding changed my life and it keeps changing for the better. I was the one that was repeating when I thought I was evolving. It was a huge insight for me. Sign up for it. You won't regret it. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you, Cecily. Thank you. Thank you for your kind comments. Thank you, Lisa. Space is so important. Yes. I cannot recommend it enough. You're so welcome, Carol. You're so welcome. Okay, well, we are at the 38-minute mark. I've been talking long enough, I'm sure. So thank you all for listening, for joining me here. I'm hoping to be here at 11 a.m. next week, but I'll post about it early enough so you guys can get a sense of that. If you have a question that you want to ask me, please send it to hello@fionalukeis.com.au and I will answer it for you next time I am live. If you want to know more about Relatable, it's amazing. It's awesome. I'm telling you, you will absolutely love it. My students love Relatable, and I love Relatable, and I love my Relatable students. It's a program that's so dear to my heart and I'm so passionate about. I just love being with my Relatable students. We have live calls twice a week, and I think those calls are just really quite magical. They're all recorded, but we're all on Zoom together so we can see each other, and people are asking direct questions, and we're having direct dialogue with each other. It's just fabulous. Absolutely love it. So if you want to know more about Relatable, hi Diane. Relatable is absolutely awesome. Do it. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys, you're so kind. You can book a chat with me here and find out more about it. Otherwise, I will see you next week, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Lots and lots of love to you all. Take care now. Ciao.